beginning of day 5, rained overnight. We'll be staying mainly in actually the earthwork field where we have trench 10 and trench 11, and even though it was a bit soggy and some people's tents got flooded last night, archaeologically it was great for us, because on this really hard dry clay the water came down and it just brought the features out, and we've actually got more features than we actually thought that we had. So we've had post holes and other layers coming up and other colours showing through, so we're going to have another re-clean and have a look at those. So we're really busy today.
Hello, my name is Mandy Holloway and I'm working here with the finds at Leiston. And one of the interesting things that came up a couple of days ago was this piece of metalwork. Now, I don't know if you can see this clearly. It's a rather twisted looking piece, and it is after all iron and therefore it's gone rusty. However, by the time we'd cleaned it up a little bit and got a good close look at it, we could see that it was some kind of a buckle arrangement here, and there were various little holes to attach things. And I thought, it looks a little bit like a horse's bridle, but not like anything modern. And so I put an image of this on my Facebook page and invited some of my friends who were fellow archaeologists interested in this kind of thing. They had a look at it and went away and looked in the books and checked all sorts of other websites, came back to me with loads of information and images to show me just how it fitted onto the side of a horse's bridle like this, and it would have been part of a curb bit. We don't know the end of the story yet, we haven't dated it yet, but we're getting closer. And what's nice is that we've had import from other people outside of our community here, our immediate community of diggers.
We're at the top of Trench 11, and we just had another bit of decorated floor tile come out of what appears to be a series of pits cutting through a linear. Not quite sure what's going on with them yet, but we've got some interesting questions that we need to be answered from it.
Rather interesting finds that have been turning up. Just under the topsoil, really. We are still in fairly unsorted and unstratified material.
Okay.
But there's a jeton here. I've not met one of these things before. We thought it was a coin when we dug it up.
Yes. They've got two uses, really. They're certainly used for accounting, like an abacus place method of accounting, of adding up and taking away, because Roman numerals were so difficult to add with pencil and paper. But they may also have been used as small change. Nobody's quite sure whether they did function as coins or not.
Yeah, just a little sort of token to say I owe you this much money, but like a banknote.
Yeah, something like that. Because you can see quite clearly on one side it says Crowwinkel.
Yes, Crowwinkel.
Yep, and that is one of the Crowwinkel. Yes, you can see S. Crowwinkel. Now, there's a whole family of Crowwinkels in Nuremberg that make these things, and the 1586 to 1635 date is Hans II.
Hans II, that's what he said.
And he writes it with two N's to distinguish him from Hans I. But you've lost the whole of the Hans, apart from the S. So that's of no help. But it's got this small writing, small neat writing, and that's how Hans Crowwinkel II produces his. But what I always like is the inscription on the back, because they put these improving mottos on the back.
Sounds quite Victorian, really.
Yes, but they're in German and not in Latin, which is right for after the Reformation in the vernacular.
They are very, some of them.
So we're here today with Robin. Robin's come from Minsmere. Robin's the archaeologist for RSPB. And what's really fascinating is that was the site of the first Abbey of Leiston. So that was founded in 1182 and didn't come here till 1363. So we've been discussing some of the great connections between the two. Robin, do you have any ideas or thoughts about the connections between the first site of Leiston and what we're digging here today?
Well, we've got a monastic complex that covers over 8 hectares at RSPB Minsmere, and we've got a geophysical survey, aerial photography work done by English Heritage, Suffolk County Council and the Colchester Archaeological Group, and that's enabled us to interpret the site that we have got the first site of Leiston Abbey, and it looks very, very similar to a lot of the plans of abbeys of that time. We found the cloister, the large church. But the exciting thing for us about the monument is we still have one standing building, unlike your 10 that you've got here,
Right.
which is the remains of a small chapel that was built just after they moved the abbey to this current site. So we've done work to conserve that chapel, but now we're interested in what it's sitting on top of, the older site. So we know we had from 1182 until about 1360 a huge complex that we'd really like to explore further. The geophysics lets us know that there's a great deal of potential, so I'm interested to explore the links between the two sites.
Yes.
And you know, whether we can actually directly link the style, the size, the shape of buildings, the materials used to what you've got here.
So of course this is an English heritage visitor attraction, and anyone can come and see these monastic remains here at Leiston's second site. But what about the first site? Can people see them there?
Yes, they can. The reserve has got public access and a car park, so you can park up and walk up to the chapel. We've had a grant from English Heritage to repair the chapel, and we're putting in public access this autumn, so it's accessible. You can walk right up to the chapel and have a look round it from late August until about mid-March. And it's a fantastic place actually to get a feel for the wider landscape, because the abbey and the chapel was built on top of a bit of a high point, an island in the marsh, so you've got a brilliant viewpoint overlooking this beautiful reed beds, wetland and the coast. So if you really want to get a feel for what it was like in the medieval period, it's a great place to stop and contemplate the view for a while.
Fantastic. If you don't see it then, we'll see it on Spring Watch.
You know, everything they like to design and everything a bit
Because of the concentration of stone.
so
Possible place to
see how we found it.
Yeah, it's not really worth it.
We've just had the most fabulous news that our campaign has hit 100%. Woo! I cannot express how happy and thrilled and just over the moon we all are. And what's even better is that we've got people joining Digital Dig Team. We've got, people signing up to be a part of the system off-site. They're not even here digging with us, and that's what this is all about. So I just seriously could not be happier, and hoping that from now until the end of the project on the 20th of July that we keep seeing that kind of support roll in, and that we can involve more and more people in what we're doing. Rock on!
So we've had a great day today. Felt slightly sorry for everybody because they had to keep retroweling, but it all paid off in the end because we found more features. In fact, it's a bit like Spaghetti Junction in trenches 10 and 11 because we have more post holes, and they've got 2 new linears in trench 11. So we just have to keep digging. It's a bit crazier. We've now got more questions than answers. We just have to keep excavating the features, find out what they're related to. All to play for. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So we're just going to keep finding stuff, I think.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
Fingers crossed.